If you recall, we've been discussing the three-legged stool that makes up our lives: the physical leg, the mental leg, and the spiritual leg. And when they are balanced, we are able to cope with life struggles better. Today, let's look at the first of these three legs, our physical well-being, and the choices we can make to help us be more resilient. Several weeks ago, I saw a Facebook post that said, "I just hate it when I go to the store for seedless grapes and end up with Oreo cookies." Part of the resetting during this time is maintaining or reestablishing some sort of physical routine. And certainly part of our physical leg is eating well. Yet for many of us, food is the main stress response. Not just any food, but certain foods. I don't know anyone who hits the fridge for celery and carrots after a hard day. We are particularly fond of foods that contain sugar, fat, and salt, sometimes singularly, but usually in the right combination. Food manufacturers actually have a standard called the bliss point. Now, seriously, they do. And for each food item, there is an optimal concentration at which sensory pleasure is at its highest, and that determines how much we eat or drink. For example, candy has the perfect combination, so that's why it's so hard to just eat one piece. When I have a bad day, you can give me your chocolate or your life, preferably in a cookie. But there is really a science behind all of this. Consider the following scenario. Most of us have had the opportunity to consume a very large holiday meal, and often that takes place between 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. If that is the case, why is it then at 5 or 6 p.m. we have a tendency to mill around the kitchen because we're hungry? Are we really? Actually, the answer is linked to survival. Holiday meals are usually comprised of foods that are the combination of the big three: fats, sugars, and carbohydrates. And these food components have been linked to survival since the beginning of time. Fats provide energy and promote cell growth. Sugar turns into energy, and carbohydrates are the perfect combination of salt, fats, and sugar. It also provides energy. All of these activate the pleasure centers in the brain, the same receptor cells really that are triggered by heroin and morphine, and these cells release a feel-good chemical called dopamine. And we want more. But there's also another factor playing here. Dopamine thrives on shock, surprise, and novelty, and usually holiday food choices are items that we don't often have. That's novelty, and perhaps surprise. Certainly, savoring that bliss point in a donut or cookie is not bad, but moderation is the key. I guess we're back to balance. So perhaps the next time we want to grab that bag of chips, we need to ask ourselves, am I hungry or am I stressed? Insight into our behavior is power. A few years ago, I was talking with a friend, and she said, "I joined a health club on an exercise special and spent $39 for 4 months, and I haven't lost a pound." Apparently, you have to show up. Another part of the physical leg that we've control over is physical activity or exercise, something that many of us are not too excited about. While a gym membership is certainly not necessary, it is a good idea to try to begin some sort of physical exercise activity at least twice a week, more often if possible. An abundance of research shows that regular physical exercise helps our physical health, aids the immune system, and enhances mental health as it has a positive impact on anxiety and depression. The routine doesn't have to be elaborate or overdone. Just walking is a very beneficial and often overlooked form of physical activity. This might also serve as a wonderful time for connecting with your loved ones if you do it together. Regardless of what form of exercise you choose, the secret is building it into your life, scheduling it, and then just beginning. A common response to stress is a change in sleep patterns. Some people have a tendency to sleep too much, and some have trouble sleeping at all. Most people function quite well on 8 hours of sleep each night, but we're all different. You're probably well aware of how much sleep you need to feel rested. And sleeping more than that during this time may be a sign of depression or even a lack of purpose to get up. And more about that in a later segment. But if you have trouble turning your mind off so you can sleep, remember to stay away from late and large meals and caffeine or other stimulants. It's also best to avoid intense fellowship and becoming upset prior to bedtime. The internet is full of ideas to help you fall asleep, so you may want to check them out. If fatigue, inability to get up, or inability to fall asleep is interfering with life functioning and relationships in any way, professional advice might be beneficial. Before an airplane takes off, the flight attendant provides guidelines about the oxygen mask if they're needed. Now, if you're traveling with a small child or someone that needs assistance, the instructions are to put the mask on yourself and then on the other individual. The analogy holds. Rest and self-care are vital. Only when you take time to replenish your body and your spirit do you have the strength for the day's challenges and the strength for helping others as well as yourself.